From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Good morning. It's 5 o'clock on your Friday morning, and we want to get right to a developing story out of Washington. Overnight, President Trump tweeting he and his wife Melania have tested positive for the coronavirus.
Nicole, the news comes just hours after one of the president's top advisors, Hope Hicks, announced that she also tested positive for COVID-19. We go now to ABC's Alex Prochet with the very latest on this Friday morning.
This morning, the coronavirus pandemic reaching the Oval Office. President Trump tweeting overnight, the First Lady and I tested positive for COVID-19. We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together. The First Lady adding, as too many Americans have done this year, the President and I are quarantining at home. Please be sure you are staying safe and we will get through this together. The White House physician saying both are well and they plan to remain at home within the White House. Late Thursday, President Trump announced plans to quarantine after one of his closest advisors, Hope Hicks, tested positive for the coronavirus. Sources telling ABC News Hicks is experiencing symptoms. The president saying this on Fox News.
You know Hope very well. She's fantastic, and she's done a great job. But it's very, very hard when you are with people from the military or for law enforcement, and they come over to you, and they want to hug you, and they want to kiss you because we really have done a good job for them. And you get close, and things happen.
She had traveled with the president multiple times this week, including that trip to Cleveland Tuesday for the first presidential debate. Sources also telling ABC News Hicks tested positive the following day. President Trump mocked Joe Biden for wearing a mask at that debate.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
He's also admitted to downplaying the virus and has held rallies that defy his own White House coronavirus guidelines. The president just said this on Thursday.
We are on track to develop and distribute a vaccine before the end of the year, and maybe substantially before. And I just want to say that the end of the pandemic is in sight.
Throughout this pandemic, more than 7 million people have been diagnosed with the coronavirus in the U.S., and more than 207,000 have died. Another question going forward is, what does this do to the Trump campaign? The White House released a revised schedule for this weekend. That controversial rally scheduled for Wisconsin has been canceled. Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
Of course, this remains a developing story. We'll continue to keep you updated on any conditions of the president and what's happening at the White House right here on WRTV, as well as our website, WRTV.com. It is Friday, October the 2nd. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana. Our good friend meteorologist Kyle Mounts is filling in for Todd Clausen this morning. And so, Kyle, I stepped outside of my Franklin home. It's feeling really good outside. A good day to have a nice cup of coffee or tea or maybe some hot chocolate.
Yeah, something warm you up a little bit. It is definitely a little on the cool side out there this morning, isn't it? Well, we've got temperatures right around 40 degrees in Indianapolis, also in Lafayette, where you're reporting a little bit of fog right now. It's 42 in the Bloomington area with those clear skies. Here's a look at the visibility, and you can see reporting this pocket here where we've got some of that fog. Half-mile visibility right now in Lafayette, about a mile as we get into the Frankfort area, so just kind of be aware of that, especially in northwestern locations this morning. Satellite and radar, though, fairly quiet. We've got a few showers making their way off of Lake Michigan. Those primarily, though, staying off to our north as we plan out your Friday here. Those temperatures, lower 40s at 8 a.m. We'll get into the mid-50s and eventually around 60 for that afternoon high as we'll gradually be increasing the clouds here as we go through the day. Temperatures not increasing too much the next few days, but they will start to build a little closer to that 71-degree average as we go into early next week.
Kyle, thank you. Good morning to everyone waking up with us this morning in Plainfield. Here's a live look at I-70 at State Road 267. This is where an ongoing construction project is creating some lane shifts. And as a reminder, the ramp from State Road 267 to eastbound I-70 is closed. That closure is expected to last until November 9th. You can still access eastbound I-70 from Ronald Reagan Parkway. With Election Day nearing, there are fears that some voters are facing obstacles.
And Nicole, good morning to you. It's great to have you with us this morning here on Good Morning Indiana. The president's son, Don Jr., called on his supporters to, quote, join Trump's election security operation. Those comments prompting 11 Democratic governors to issue a statement condemning the president's message, saying there is absolutely no excuse for promoting the intimidation or harassment of voters. This morning, 35 states are requesting or requiring voters to have some form of ID for the 2020 election. That's according to the National Conference of State Legislatures.
And early voting in Indiana begins next week, and it's not just the president you'll be voting for. There are several key elections, and we want to keep you informed about the candidates. Indiana will be voting for a new attorney general. Incumbent Curtis Hill lost his re-election bid as the Republican candidate to face off against Democrat Jonathan Weinzapfel. The Republican contender is former U.S. Representative Todd Rokita. We sat down with him to talk about why he's running and the issues he thinks are most important this year.
We have to continue to protect against federal government overreach, help Donald Trump make sure that the agencies are reined in, and protect against the negative impact from liberal states around us, because their attorneys general can use the court system to over-regulate us. I'm the only one in this race that has prosecuted criminals, and then we had 300 years of jail time from when I was your Secretary of State, working with the Prosecution Assistance Unit and local prosecutors to secure that jail time. The only one who's fought to have a case all the way to the United States Supreme Court.
Well, you can watch our whole interview with Todd Rokita by clicking on this story right now on the WRTV app. And tonight we will hear from the former Evansville Mayor Jonathan Weinzapfel, who is the Democratic nominee.
So, Nicole, voter turnout this year could just simply break records across the country, which means you could be waiting in long lines even during early voting. Now, this year, there's a new website to help you track wait times in Marion County's polling places, and all of this happening in real time. It's called Indy Vote Times, and it's hosted by a group called Vote Safe Indiana. When early voting begins next Tuesday, the website will start clocking current wait times at voting centers across the county to help alleviate those long lines. Even with bigger voter turnout expected this year, Vote Safe Indiana wants to make sure people know their options and what the lines would look like before leaving their front door.
And Rafael, if you still need to register to vote, Ivy Tech is offering help. They are hosting a voter registration drive-through event. It goes from 9 this morning to 6 this evening at the campus on Fall Creek Parkway. That's between Illinois and Capitol. You can also register online right now at indianavoters.in.gov. The deadline to register to vote is Monday, October 5th. And here are some dates you'll want to keep in mind. Early voting begins Tuesday, October 6th. The deadline to request an absentee ballot is October 22nd. It must be received by noon on Election Day, which is November 3rd. WRTV is your source for everything you need to know before November 3rd. Go to our Vote in 2020 digital section. There you'll find all you need to know, including who's on your ballot, where you can vote and when, how early voting works and when it starts, what mailing in your vote looks like, and any other questions you might have this election season. Just keep a tab open at WRTV.com/vote in 2020.
Good morning to Zionsville, Martinsville, and Shelbyville. Now to the very latest on the coronavirus and its impact on our state. Another 1,171 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. As you can see, the number of positive cases have been trending upward since Tuesday. And state health officials also report 13 new Hoosier deaths. That's 7 less than the previous day. Since the pandemic began, 3,418 Hoosiers have died with COVID-19. Now, the state remains in pretty good shape when it comes to how well our hospitals are prepared to deal with a potential surge in coronavirus cases. As of this morning, 38% of our ICU beds are available. Just under 12% are being used by COVID patients. As for ventilators, around 80% are available. 3.5% are being used by COVID patients.
As we continue to monitor the state's resources, health officials are keeping a close eye on the number of COVID cases and the number of flu cases concerned over a possible twindemic. We spoke with an ER physician from St. Vincent. He tells us he's worried people will come to the emergency room thinking they've contracted COVID-19 when they are experiencing mild flu symptoms, and that influx of patients could overwhelm hospitals.
We may be inundated or overrun with patients who may otherwise have stayed home with mild flu symptoms pouring into our emergency departments with influenza that could have been managed at home.
That's why doctors are encouraging everyone to get a flu vaccine to help keep emergency rooms clear for those who really need to be there. If you're in need of a flu shot, the Marion County Public Health Department is offering a series of low-cost flu clinics this month. Vaccines cost $20 for adults and children 2 and older. Shots for children under 2 are free. Medicare and Medicaid are accepted. The first is today at the Health Department's South District Health Office at 7551 South Shelby Street from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The second is Wednesday, October 7th at Old Bethel Church at 7995 East 21st Street from 9 a.m. until noon. These are all walk-in clinics, and we do have a complete list of flu shot opportunities right now at WRTV.com.
The time now is 5:10. The pandemic, as you know, has put a stop to many events across central Indiana, really around the world. And this morning, our Kelsey Anderson joins us live from Hancock County with details on how one group, right, is staying positive despite a very disappointing season. Kelsey, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. So the Greenfield Central Marching Band, they were the 2019 state champions. And of course, this year they don't have a chance to defend that title, but they did have a chance last night to show off their best work. So here's a look at last night's performance where the concert bands and the marching bands got to showcase their best work in what might be their only live performance this year. They also took time last night to honor their seniors, something that's usually done at football games.
One of the things we tried to really impress upon our kids and our families, you know, we don't exist to compete. That's not why we do band. Competing is a piece of what we do, but my job as the band director isn't to win state championships. My job is, through music, to make these kids better people.
Now, I did speak to several seniors, and they say while this isn't the ending that they wanted for their band career, they are glad they at least got some closure last night. So coming up in the next half hour, you're of course going to hear from some of those seniors on how last night felt for them. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. And as you head out the door this morning, like Kelsey, you're probably going to want to grab that layer, maybe the jacket and also the sunglasses. We are going to see some bright skies here as the sun comes up, but as we go through the day, I think the clouds will increase a little bit. Look at the chill in the air, though. We do have a couple of spots, Richmond, Greenfield in the 30s right now, Terre Haute and Sullivan at 38 degrees, while it is 40 in the Indianapolis area. Our temperatures today remaining unseasonably cool. We'll get into the mid-50s here for your lunch hour, eventually to around 60 for that afternoon high. Again, a few more clouds as we head through the afternoon. No rain from those clouds today, though. We certainly still need it after wrapping up one of our driest Septembers on record. You can see moderate drought across the western portion of the state. There is a little bit of rain. It comes in the weekend forecast. More on that in just a few minutes.
Kyle, thank you. Supreme Court nominee Judge Amy Coney Barrett is facing new scrutiny this morning for her anti-abortion views. Up next, why an ad she signed in a South Bend newspaper is facing criticism. It's 5:13. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This morning, we are learning President Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Amy Coney Barrett, signed an anti-abortion ad. This as her opponents scrutinize her views on anti-abortion rights. Back in 2006, an anti-abortion group took out a 2-page ad in a newspaper in South Bend when Barrett was a law professor at Notre Dame. She was among hundreds of people who signed it. One page reads, quote, "We, the following citizens of Michiana, oppose abortion on demand and support the right to life from fertilization to a natural death." The other page called for an end to the Roe v. Wade decision. A White House spokesperson responded to the news saying in part, quote, "As Judge Barrett said on the day she was nominated, a judge must apply the law as written. Judges are not policymakers and they must be resolute in setting aside any policy views they might hold."
The time now is 5:17, and Amazon and eBay, they plan to remove items associated with a white supremacy group from their websites. The move comes after President Trump was asked to denounce the hate group during Tuesday night's presidential debate. Now, instead, he told the Proud Boys, that's the group, to, quote, stand back and stand by. After the comments, merchandise with that phrase began selling on the sites. eBay and Amazon say the group's related items violate their company's policies that prohibits offensive materials. The Southern Poverty Law Center calls the group a far-right hate group. Members of that group have been seen in their black and yellow polo shirt uniforms at multiple 2020 Trump campaign rallies. Nicole?
Say her name. It's been a rallying cry at protests over the death of Breonna Taylor. And this morning, new analysis from our partners at Newsy show black women are killed by police at a disproportionately high rate. But police killings of black men receive much more coverage. Experts say police violence against black women has gotten worse since the 80s. Part of the reason black women and children are largely impacted by drug raids.
Black women are the group who are most likely to be killed by police when unarmed of any group, including black men. And that illuminates kind of how deeply entrenched perceptions of black women as inherently dangerous, deranged, threatening, animalistic.
The Newsy survey looked at high-profile names of victims of police violence. It found most people are far less familiar with names of those who are women. Most people say they haven't heard anything at all about the highest-profile black women killed by police aside from Breonna Taylor.
So, Nicole, we're starting Good News Friday a bit early on this Friday. A high school football player's first ever touchdown now drawing the attention of the NFL. You need to meet Desmond Pulliam. He's a senior defensive lineman who happens to have autism. Last Thursday, he scooped up a fumble and raced to the end zone to score his first career touchdown in memorable fashion. His story caught the attention of two members of the Washington football team, Ryan Kerrigan and Dustin Hopkins. Both reached out to Pulliam in a video calling him simply inspiring. Hopkins and his wife Gabrielle have a son with autism and live part-time in Austin. Pulliam also signed a jersey from the Washington football team. What a great moment for that young man. Of course, it feels like football weather out there. I also call you Todd Clawson because I'm used to saying Todd Clawson, but today it's Kyle Mounts. See what happens when you're on auto repeat correct?
Hey,
Kyle,
I'm the one that's up early. All right, well, we got a temperature of 40 degrees. Now I'm going to mess up. That's the way it goes, right? Okay, well, we got a light west wind out there between 5 and 10 miles per hour, enough that does give us a little bit of a wind chill. It feels like 36. It is too early in the season for that, for me anyway. Maybe you are enjoying the chill in the air. We've got some more of that to come. More widespread 30s there across the northern plain states, but our skies are pretty clear. You notice there are a few showers here coming off of Lake Michigan. Had a couple of very light sprinkles around Logansport and the Peru area earlier, as we've got some of that warmer lake water influenced by the cooler air temperatures that we have. So similar to what we would experience with some lake effect snow, but warm enough that we got some rain. Not going to see rain here across much of central Indiana. We do start off the day with some sunshine. Temperatures in the middle 40s at 9 a.m. We'll get to 53 here at 11 o'clock this morning, and those numbers into the upper 50s to around 60 as we get to 1 o'clock. Not going to be as breezy today either. That northwest wind around 5 to 10 miles per hour. 63 for you this afternoon in Bloomington, right at 60 in Indianapolis, and a few areas I think where we'll have some of those clouds from that influence off of Lake Michigan. Will not get out of the 50s here around Peru and Muncie at 59. The football forecast here, if you are going to be heading off for some of that football weather, we've got temperatures that you're going to need to layer up for. We're in the 50s already at 7 o'clock this evening, 54 at 8 o'clock. The sun will set here a little before 7:30. We'll keep it dry, light wind, 52 here as we get to 9 o'clock tonight. And as we go into the overnight hours, could see some of that patchy frost, especially in northeastern communities. Meanwhile, we'll hold on to the lower 40s as we look toward the south and west. As far as the weekend ahead, Saturday, we're going to have some more cloud cover around slightly warmer as we get into the lower 60s. But I think it's on Sunday that we will see the influence of some rain showers in the forecast. Maybe about 1/4 inch of rain coming our way. Temperatures that will top out in the middle 50s there. So very cool and damp second half of the weekend, but we are warming up next week. Highs near 70 on Tuesday, And Nicole will get into the lower 70s by Wednesday.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much. Well, good morning to everyone waking up with us here in Carmel. Here's a live look at US 31 at Main Street, where traffic is moving along both northbound and southbound along US 31. We aren't monitoring any crashes right now at this hour. Raphael.
Still to come on Good Morning Indiana, a state commission taking action against an Indianapolis plumber exposed by WRTV investigates Kara Kenny. Ahead at 5:30, what this means for customers and how you can protect yourself. Thank you for starting your Friday morning with Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
Welcome back and take a look at this. People looking up at the night sky overnight took in a stunning sight.
Yeah, so it's a full moon. It's called the harvest moon, and it will be around for the next 3 days for you to enjoy. The harvest moon is the closest full moon to the end of summer and the start of fall. Now, it got its name because farmers used it during harvest to work late into the night. Unlike most harvest moons, this one is on display in October instead of September. If you don't catch it on today, you can see it again on Saturday morning to see it as well. And you know, Kyle Mounts, I'm going to use the harvest moon as my excuse for changing your name and just throwing me off kilter a few minutes ago. So I hope that you will take that as a valid excuse because you are our scientist this morning.
Well,
do you buy it?
And you know, Raphael, I will, because we actually get another full moon here on Halloween. So we get a blue moon. We get 2 full moons here in the month of October. So especially on Halloween, kind of nice how that will line up, isn't it? Exactly how the forecast will pan out, we will wait and see. But here's a look at that October weather outlook and the drier than average conditions looking to continue here for us throughout the month. We even average about a ½ inch of snow. As we look at the average temperatures, no strong signal either way, but I do see a warm up coming our way here in the next couple of days. We'll detail your 7-day planning forecast in just a few minutes. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on WRTV.
It's feeling a little more like November than the first week of October. Now at 5:30, Kyle's breaking down when the temps could tumble into the 30s, plus our first chance for frost.
And the big story this morning, President Trump and the First Lady, they test positive for coronavirus. Who else in the president's circle has tested positive for the virus? Plus this.
So I guess he thinks I'm going to go away, but I'm not going to go away.
A state commission is taking action against an Indianapolis plumber exposed by WRTV Investigates. We're working for you with what this means for customers and how you can protect yourself. Good Morning Indiana continues right now.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Friday, October the 2nd. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on what's happening at the White House with the President and the First Lady in light of them being testing positive for COVID-19. But first, a very big good morning to my good friends, Nicole Griffin and Kyle Mounts on this Friday morning. Good morning, team.
Raphael, good morning. We're so happy to be here with you, hanging out on this Friday morning. But Kyle, as you step out the door, you're going to want to be prepared to turn the heat on in that car. Avoid wearing flip-flops like I did, you know?
Yeah, if you do
Wait, hold on. You wear flip-flops?
Yeah, they're comfortable.
Well, they're not comfortable when it's 40 degrees.
No, and
really,
you're right about that.
But, yeah, you may need to direct that heat to the floorboard. If you're going to go Nicole's route and wear the flip-flops with the jacket this morning. All right, well, we got temperatures in the 30s, a few spots like Terre Haute, even around Crawfordsville. We've got some numbers in the upper 30s for you this morning, right at 40 degrees in the Indianapolis area. Skies are clear. That allowed those temperatures to tumble a bit overnight. You can see there were a few very light rain showers earlier this morning around Peru. Those have faded away, and I do think we are going to be dry here as we go throughout the day. Northern locations could see a stray shower with that rain coming off of Lake Michigan. For the rest of us, we'll just increase the clouds here as we go through the afternoon. A high temperature only about 60 degrees, so the jacket you take with you this morning, you're going to need that into the afternoon hours as well. Light northwest breeze for us at just 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, 42 in the city. Some areas, though, could dip down into the upper 30s with some of that patchy frost. We'll detail more on that coming up here in a few minutes.
All right, Kyle, thank you. We're taking a live look at traffic this morning. Just a reminder, the on-ramp from Allisonville Road to westbound I-465 is closed at this hour. Crews are working to repair a utility pole damaged in that deadly accident involving a semi-truck early yesterday morning. IPL says the ramp could be closed for at least 4 days. But as you can see, the interstate traffic here is moving up to speed. Raphael.
Nicole, we are following a developing story this morning from the nation's capital. From the White House, President Trump and First Lady Melania have tested positive for COVID-19. The president tweeted this morning around 1 o'clock saying, quote, "The First Lady and I have tested positive for COVID-19. We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together." The president and First Lady are both reported doing well this morning. The president's staff says he expects to continue to carry out his duties while recovering. The president's positive test results come just hours after Hope Hicks, one of his closest advisors, reported testing positive as well for the virus. Hicks has traveled multiple times with the president recently, including to the debate in Cleveland on Tuesday.
Now let's take a look at how the virus continues to impact the Hoosier State. This morning, state health officials report more than 1,171 new coronavirus cases. Since the pandemic began, more than 121,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Health officials also report 13 new coronavirus deaths. Since March, more than 3,400 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Now we want to take a look at how the virus is impacting Hendricks County. The county west of Indianapolis has reported more than 2,800 cases of the coronavirus. 16 of those were reported just on Thursday. Hendricks County currently has a positivity rate just shy of 3%.
The time now is 5:35 here on Good Morning Indiana. Bars, restaurants, entertainment venues in Marion County can start applying for a HELP grant beginning on October the 15th. That stands for Hospitality Establishment Lifeline Pavement, the word HELP. Eligible businesses can be reimbursed up to $25,000 for rent or mortgage costs from April through December of this year. On Thursday, Mayor Joe Hogsett also announced a separate $1 million fund to help businesses get through the winter.
Outdoor seating continues to be the safest route for restaurants, bars, and venues. We want to help establishments in Marion County make any adjustments they can to keep this practice going. Grants of up to $2,500 can be used to cover the cost for outdoor heaters, canopies, tables, and chairs, or frankly, other PPE.
More details this morning. The application process goes through November the 6th. Eligible requirements and more details can be found at response.indychamber.com/health grants to get the information you need on this critical program.
New this morning, a high-speed police chase beginning in Shelby County ends across state lines. The chase lasted nearly 80 miles into Cincinnati, Ohio. Police say the chase finally ended when the driver got stuck in a cul-de-sac. 3 police vehicles were also sideswiped in the chase. No police officers were injured. The driver now faces charges in multiple counties. And this morning, there's no word on why the driver ran from officers.
The State Plumbing Commission is taking action against an Indianapolis plumber accused of taking customers' money and not doing the work that he promised to finish. WRTV Investigates has been following accusations against Jonathan Kirby for more than a year. The commission met online and heard from 2 more of Kirby's former customers. They say they paid him to do work at their home, but he did not finish the job or provide a refund. The Attorney General's office filed a formal complaint in April accusing Kirby of fraud, material deception, as well as misconduct. The state is asking the commission to discipline Kirby and get restitution for those consumers. Lindsey Gordon and Jonathan Kirby paid $942 for a job, but they say he never showed up.
Excuse after excuse after excuse till I finally got to the point that let's cancel it. I want my money back.
We emailed Kirby, who told us, quote, "I just looked in my email and saw I did miss the meeting today. I'm attempting to gain employment as I write this to be able to pay people back, ma'am." Because he did not show up, the Plumbing Commission voted to issue Kirby a notice of proposed default. That means he has a week to provide a written response to the commission. If he doesn't, they can proceed without Kirby's participation, and their next meeting is December the 2nd.
It is 5:38 and the coronavirus pandemic has put a stop to a lot of events. Our Kelsey Anderson is live in Hancock County this morning with how one group of students is staying positive amid a disappointing season. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So the Greenfield Central Marching Band, they were the 2019 state champions. And now this year, of course, they don't have a chance to defend their title. But last night, they took to their football field to showcase some of their best work and to salute their seniors.
Definitely different. It's not what any of us were expecting or hoping for. Just like, even though it wasn't really meant to end this way, I'm kind of glad I get some form of an ending.
It's our little piece of normal and all the craziness.
2019 state champions, ready to defend their title this year.
We thought we were going to have a normal season. We had an entirely new show planned out, but then everything got canceled.
The official band season may be canceled, but that doesn't mean the music has to stop. Last night, the band took to the field to take a walk down memory lane and showcase the work they've done over the years.
So we took the end of our 2017 show, which was these seniors' freshman year, and the end of last year's show, and we're doing kind of a little bit of a walk down memory lane, where they started and the state championship show.
Band director Chris Wing says, while competing is fun, that's not what being a part of this team is about.
Competing is a piece of what we do, but my job as the band director isn't to win state championships. My job is, through music, to make these kids better people.
As for the seniors, they're glad that they get a little sense of closure.
Honestly, I'm just glad we get to do something when there's like a whole lot of marching bands that don't have anything going on.
So what's special for us about this event last night is one of our producers, his daughter was one of those seniors that was recognized last night. He tells us that it was a very emotional experience and that the seniors and all the whole band team, they surprised their family and friends by wearing their uniforms last night, something they didn't think they would be able to do this season. They also sent off fireworks at the end of the show. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Despite the recent rain, much of our state still experiencing what is known as drought conditions. Here's a look at the latest drought conditions. It shows much of the state is abnormally dry and portions of northeast Indiana and west central Indiana in a moderate drought. Nearly a dozen counties have issued burn bans because of the dry conditions. And no doubt, Kyle Mounts, we could all use more rain over the next couple of days to sort of resolve this issue. But what's your forecast saying?
Yeah, we've got some rain in the forecast, Raphael, just not a whole lot of it. Now, it does line up with part of the weekend, so that's not great timing, but at this point, we will take it anytime we can get it. Right now, you can see those models, though, generally coming in about 1/4 of an inch of rainfall here, and most of that would fall as we go into our Sunday. We're dry this morning. What we're tracking, though, for you, a little bit of fog here. You can see around Lafayette that visibility only 1.5 miles, a little over 1 mile in Frankfort, and then we see things improving greatly as you get out of that region. But some northwestern communities, a little bit of fog out there this morning. Kids going to need the jacket for sure at the bus stop with temperatures around 40 degrees as they head to school. Will still be cool as they head home with temperatures right around 60 and those increasing clouds. Nicole?
Kyle, thank you. This morning we are inching closer and closer to Election Day, and voting-related lawsuits are piling up. Still ahead, how many of those lawsuits experts say have been filed across the country.
Nicole, even more fans will now be able to see the Colts play in person for the next home game ahead this morning when you can get your tickets to the game.
And here's a live look outside on your Friday morning from our INDOT traffic camera at the North Split. Traffic at this hour moving up to speed. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. As the election gets closer, voting-related lawsuits are piling up across the country. Most cases concern the fundamentals of the voting process, with the coronavirus creating obstacles. In Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, people are fighting over the cutoff date for counting mail-in ballots. Lawsuits in North Carolina raise concerns over witness signature requirements. Ohio is dealing with court challenges for ballot drop boxes, and Texas over extra days for early voting. A former Justice Department elections official has tallied 260 lawsuits arising from coronavirus nationwide.
This morning, an Arizona man who says he was sexually abused by an Indiana priest more than 40 years ago is now suing officials in both states, Arizona and Indiana. In the lawsuit filed on Thursday, the plaintiff says the priest was allowed into a Navajo Nation school despite his predatory history. The Diocese of Phoenix and the Diocese of Lafayette, Indiana, and the priest are all named as defendants in this lawsuit. The plaintiff, who is Navajo, is seeking unspecified damages for pain, suffering, and other costs. He says he was 14 when he met the priest in the late 70s in Arizona. Time now to check your forecast on this Friday morning. And Kyle, we're hoping for some sunshine and maybe, warm temperatures. I'll take something maybe, Kyle, in the 50s or 60s on this beautiful fall day.
50s we can certainly do, and I think we'll get some 60s out there this afternoon. We would like a lot of sunshine too. It looks like the sun is shining, but this is actually a look at that full harvest moon out there glowing nice and bright for you this morning. We got that temperature though at 40 degrees, so sunshine will be nice later today to help warm things up a little bit. And check that out, it feels like 36 with just that light west breeze. We do have some numbers in the 30s. You're at 36 degrees right now in the Greenfield area, 38 in Richmond, and 42 in Bloomington. There's a look at some of that cool air. So there is this cool pocket here sitting across not only the Midwest and Ohio Valley, but the Central Plains states as well, with very quiet weather. The only showers really coming here off of Lake Michigan, where we've got some of that warmer water influenced by the cooler air. All right, temperatures today for us, not warming a whole lot. By 10 a.m. we are still in the 40s, even with that sunshine to get things started. We'll start to build in a few more clouds as we head into the afternoon, and temperatures will make their way upper 50s to around 60. But our average high is 71, so kind of off the mark there in Indy at 60. Upper 50s for you, Peru and Muncie, where I think we'll have a little more cloud cover because of that fetch off of Lake Michigan. But I really don't expect much in the way of shower activity. 61 for your high in Lafayette. This evening, layer up for those football games. It will be cool with temperatures in the 50s here and mostly cloudy skies. Sun sets a little before 7:30. Tomorrow morning, most locations will be in the 40s, not unlike this morning. Could have some of that patchy frost, though, in northeastern communities. The first half of the weekend is going to be the best half of the weekend here, even though we are going to have quite a bit of cloud cover around. Temperatures make their way into the lower 60s. And then for Sunday, that's when rain comes back into the forecast. This is Sunday at 5 a.m. You can see some of those light scattered showers, so it may not be all that heavy here as we go into the afternoon. Again, only about 1/4 of an inch of rain is expected. But that is also going to keep a lid on those temperatures, so it will be a cool and damp day. In your 7-day planning forecast, there's a look at that high on Sunday at just 56. We do start to warm up, though. Monday, 62. Sunshine will return to the area. A very nice Tuesday as we approach 70 degrees, and there we're back above average, at least for a day, on Wednesday at 73. But a dry stretch of weather once again after we get through our Sunday. Nicole?
Kyle, thank you. Good morning to our neighbors over in Hancock County. Here's a live look at I-70 at State Road 9 this morning, where traffic in this area and elsewhere around the metro area is moving up to speed. Tickets go on sale this morning for the Colts' next home game at Lucas Oil Stadium. On Thursday, the team announced up to 12,500 fans will be allowed in the stadium for the October 18th matchup against the Bengals. Tickets start at $48. If this is the first game you attend this season, be prepared to wear a mask and sit in a pod arrangement. That means if you bought tickets with a group of people, you will sit together, but you will be socially distanced in the stands from other groups. Temperature checks will be taken at the gate, and tickets are mobile only, and only cashless transactions will be allowed at concession stands and gift shops.
So Nicole, from the Colts to cars, fast cars, this weekend will be a historic one at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Our Brad Brown reports as IndyCar prepares for the first major auto race at the track ever held in October.
A brisk day at the Speedway did not deter more than 1,000 fans from being the first to return to IMS this year. Scattered around several sections of the Oval's Turn 1 grandstands, a great view of the last 4 turns of the Speedway road course. What they saw during the afternoon practice session was rookie Alex Palou leading the field to a fast lap. The 23-year-old Spaniard struggled during July's Grand Prix, but admitted that time has been on his side this summer.
When we came here the first time, I didn't know the track, so now I knew where to go. To be honest, the car is much better. I'm more comfortable. We got more races in. But we're still trying to improve every time.
Qualifying got rolling as the sun was setting behind the Georgetown Road grandstands. That created quite a challenge on the back end of the road course. Graham Rahal, among many drivers, adding a tint to their helmet to deal with the glare. Another rookie would take the top spot on the grid. 20-year-old Rinus VK, driving for Ed Carpenter Racing, went to the fastest lap of the day. The late qualifying group was much quicker as the sun went down and the track cooled. VK rocketed to a second-row start in the Indy 500. He'll lead the field to green for the first time in his IndyCar career on Friday.
Well, I know Ed Carpenter Racing gives me a great car here in Indianapolis at their home race. And I like Indy. It's nice to finally get all its hard work rewarded. And yeah, first pole was definitely a big goal to end the season with, at least. So I'm happy that I finally have it now.
Joseph Newgarden will join VK on the front row. Big for Newgarden, who is trying to catch up to Scott Dixon in the points championship. Dixon will start in row 6. Here's the rest of the front half of Friday's starting grid. Palou qualified 17th after the quick time in practice. We'll see who can put together the right lines to bring home the trophy on Friday afternoon. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Brad, thank you. Tons, literally tons of carrots are dumped into a London street. Still ahead, the purpose behind this bizarre move. It's 5:52. Stay with us.
So please don't judge me, but when watching this video of someone deliberately, dumping 31 tons, you heard me right, 31 tons of carrots into a city street, I have a flashback to my days of watching Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd and Daffy Duck. So I have to say, what up, Doc? Especially with all those carrots. The bizarre display was an art installation to highlight the wasting of food called grounding. It was organized by a University of London student of art, of course. He says the work explores the tensions and visibility between the rural and the city. Now, the work had mixed reactions, with some concerned about the artist wasting a lot of food. But Evans says the carrots were rejected by supermarkets, and he plans to donate them to farms as animal feed following the installation. Of course, art can always be very powerful and sends a big message. Kyle, do you like carrots, broccoli, or peas?
I like carrots, but you know, Rafael, you got to be very quiet. I think they might be hunting some bunny rabbits out there.
Hey, listen. Huh? Very good. I did not think you were of that certain age. Good. That's a good catch right there.
Yeah, some Elmer Fudd for you on this Friday morning. You can't get that just anywhere. All right, if you are going to be heading to IMS for the Harvest GP today, temperatures generally going to be in the 50s. We will have partly cloudy skies at noon, but those clouds will be increasing as we top out around 60 degrees.
Kyle, thank you. A Broad Ripple-based tech business is getting big business these days. Coming up new at 6 o'clock, how they're using the pandemic to hire Hoosiers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.